Hey, more Shadow the Tomb Raider content on Gamerside, and this time we're going to focus on gameplay, and we'll start with Lara sneaking in on two enemies, and I should probably start by saying that much like in the three games which were released on PS3 and Xbox 360, actually also PC obviously, you can select the difficulty settings depending on the gameplay type that you enjoy the most. For example, you can choose to play the combat in easy mode, puzzles in hard, and the platforming sequences in hard mode too. We chose to leave combat in normal, but push the difficulty to hard on the other two settings. And it doesn't make a huge difference so far, as far as we can see, but it's still a very nice option to use. The platforming, there's fewer indications to help you or you are. The timings also, when you have to press the X button to avoid a fall, they're tighter. You can see that you can rappel down also, and the camera work is very nice. Here it's completely scripted, obviously, but it's still a nice thing to see. In a game, makes it more immersive. So the QTE when you're about to fall, because it was not exactly a rough landing. I'm not sure it's a landing exactly, but see what I mean. And all the moves that and you've known ever since Tomb Raider was rebooted in 2013, and even ever since Drake started his adventures in Uncharted. So there's nothing really new. It's all very easy to play, and even though you don't get to have all the indications when you play in hard mode, as far when it comes to the platforming sequences, it's quite easy to actually read the environments. So here it's the beginning of the game. Lara doesn't have. She lost part of her equipment, so she needs to get it back, and she decides to use the what remains of the plane after the crash to craft a sort of knife. But she's not alone in the water, apparently. So you get to use the X button again in a quick time event. There aren't a lot of them as far as I've seen, which is fine. They're not more present than before, probably not less present either, but it's something that again, if you know the franchise, you've come to expect. Obviously this is back to the campfire, where you can upgrade your gear. So here the knife, for example, in the beginning, but then your bow and your guns. But it's also where you're going to choose the skills you prefer, and you can see the skill tree has a new design, and it looks very, very nice compared to what it looked like before. But it's true that before it didn't look like much. And here, so you have 3 branches, depending on the style of play you have. If you're more like the attacker, or more sneaky, for example, or you want to improve your exploration skills. There are also challenges like this one, like nests you have to destroy in areas, like 4 in this area. But here Lara she's the prey, and so you can see there's a panther lurking, and she's well, I wouldn't say she's worried, but she's careful because she knows she's in danger. And again, take a look at the attention and the effort they put in recreating this jungle. It looks amazing. So this is the fight against the panther, and it's nothing new. If you've played a Tomb Raider game before, you basically run and dodge. If you time your dodge perfectly, you get to have a slow motion. Here it's not the case, and the panther takes a lot of arrows. But I wanted to show this passage, which I think looks really nice. Although, the fur, it's not quite there, but Lara is very, very pretty, despite the mud. But Shadow of the Tomb Raider is also obviously fighting human enemies and staying in the shadows, hence the title, I guess. and you can use the walls now, with all the the lush vegetation to remain hidden, which is a nice mechanic. It's nothing incredibly different from just hiding in the plants, but yeah, it works. My only grudge, but it's been like that for for quite a few years now, is that Lara is still as cruel and brutal as ever. I think it's a bit of a shame that you cannot choose to be stealthy in a more gentle way. Even like choking them to death nicely, which is going to do now, actually, with her bow, but it's still quite brutal. But yeah, she's gonna use her axe and knife, and sometimes I feel it's unnecessary. I could understand why she was really pissed at them in the first two games sometimes, but here, especially in the beginning, it's not like they did anything personal to her that would make her so angry that she would want to rip them apart. Shadow of the Tomb Raider, like the other games, is also filled with those moments when you can explore, and this is the first village you reach. There's a second one which which is a bit reminiscent of something in Uncharted 2, just on a bigger scale, different settings and also different atmosphere, but still very nice. And in these hubs, you get to meet people. You can talk to them. They will sometimes give you missions, but sometimes they will simply give you some information about the area where you can find things, and your map will be updated. This woman, who's a little lost apparently due to her past, something that happened, and she reveals there's gold in the area. So it's a very nice touch, and it's a lot more lively than the other hubs, and you also get to see children, which you don't in Spider-Man in New York. So it's nice to see that. Underwater sequences. This is me exploring near the village. You can loot. There are challenges to aquatic plants, to 5 of them to collect. It's not too much, and it's nice to be able to again explore freely. There's no breath meter, so you have to be careful. But if you remember, just a little earlier, we upgraded the Lara's breath so she can stay longer. And here, the vibrations in the gamepad we were using indicated that there was something hidden there, and it's something that they did very well. And with the vibrations, it's something that we don't talk about that much ever since the first Metal Gear Solid on PS1. And yeah, I was impressed. The first sequence, it's the Lara's heartbeat, and it's really nice. And even when the plane crashes, that sequence that we saw. Very impressive. So that's it for this second video, and I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you in the next.